Yeah.
And this is the next morning. So it took us a long time to get going because we broke
did.
the tire lever that we had to buy.
It was just a lot. We had to do a lot of
We
stuff.
had to go to the pharmacy.
Yes, I had to get ibuprofen, tape to wrap the fingers. Yeah.
And there was something else that we had to do.
Breakfast. We went out for breakfast.
Right.
The hotel, for once, didn't. Well, most hotels had breakfast, but this one
Yeah, I think
didn't.
we had to pay extra or
Yeah.
something. Bye-bye, Germany. Here we are on day 2 of our 11-day bike trip through the Alps. Today's stage would take us from Singen in Germany to Bux in Switzerland. As you already heard, we had a slow start. But let's take a closer look at the route today. So we leave from Singen, we cross into Switzerland, we cross the Rhine there, you see Lake Constance, which we follow a little bit. But since the bike route along Lake Constance has a reputation for being overcrowded, especially in the summer, we head south and then follow the Tour River Valley. You can see, first it's rolling hills, but the bigger mountains are coming. We go through Appenzell, then we descend, we get back to the Rhine Valley, and here's our destination for today, Bux.
This is where Harald almost killed a lady.
Took somebody
She
out.
wasn't gonna let him slide either. She was angry.
No, I
he
swung my
kicked.
leg off the bike and well, I didn't kick her. I guess I just got close. To the Well, nobody was injured. We walked our bikes through the pedestrianized zone of the beautiful Swiss city of Stein am Rhein. And like throughout much of the trip, we didn't spend much time in the cities. The exception maybe being having our pictures taken on this bridge across the Rhine.
Then we were on a really nice path along the river.
Yeah, like you can see Lake Constance on the left.
Following the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
And then a big climb.
Yeah, of which I don't think we had much footage, but that was a big climb.
It was like that.
Right.
Yeah, it was a very pleasant day out on the bike.
At this point.
Was there any bad?
Classes are yet to go.
Oh, there was more climbing to come.
Oh, yeah.
That is a lot of rhubarb. Jeez.
We were like camped out right at the entrance to this tiny little grocery store. Yeah.
Because I guess that was the one shady spot.
Yeah, it was hot.
I went for the non-alcoholic beers, the discounted yogurts or whatever that was, some buns, vegan cheese, and yeah, so we were ready for the climbing that was about to come.
What, in river direction? Yeah. Time.
The climbs were not long yet, there were no named passes on this day, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to work on these little roads. We had some really spectacular scenery here, going over these tall bridges that just appear out of nowhere for the railroads and for bicycles. It's a bicycle-only bridge, so that was really neat.
Hello.
As I said, the weather was good, it was sunny. The downside of that was that the sun was really burning down, and so here we had these super steep exposed climbs, and yeah, it was a workout. I remember this being super steep and hot too.
Yep. We'll be saying that a lot. I have electrolytes. A big long oil slick descent. It's about to.
Right, so you can see the oil slick kind of in the middle, so we had to stick to the right. This seemed more alpine now. We got our first switchback downhill, so that was a sign you are in the Alps, you have made it. You see the tall mountains in the background, even though you're not climbing them just yet, but yeah, that was a sign. We were where we were hoping to be and where we were going to stay for a while. Yeah, this is Appenzell, home of the famous cheese, and the brewery to the right there. Appenzell is already quite up, but there was still more climbing to do before then we would descend down back into the Rhine valleys. No, that's not it, I'm sure. I mean, we are going up again, but not, that just is a driveway, I think. So we had started at the Rhine, had kind of cut across some of the mountains, and now we're going to descend back into the valley.
Well, that was the last climb according to Robert.
We almost decided not to take this. We almost decided to go to the main road because we weren't confident about how rough this would be.
Right, we saw there were some unpaved sections and it looked fairly steep.
Yep.
I think in the end, yeah, it was a good call.
No, we did the right thing.
It was only unpaved on top. That descent was really good. Yes, the beginning was unpaved, so you had to ride on your brakes. But gradually, the road got better. There were hardly any cars, and eventually it was a super fun descent. I think this also started the pattern that would keep repeating over the rest of the trip, where Ben would usually be faster on the uphills, and then on the downhills I was the one who would maybe not brake as much as was prudent, and so I would always arrive at the bottom faster.
He made it. Proof of life. Crossing the Rhine into Austria.
We hopped the border a couple times, jumping from Switzerland into Austria, back to Switzerland. And the Rhine has this really, really nice bike path. I think it's actually on both sides for much of the route. Super flat, pretty scenic. It was still sunny. Our destination was Bux in Switzerland. And just as we got there, the clouds that we had seen in the distance started getting bigger. So we were like, yeah, we probably have to put on our rain jackets. Then it stopped raining, of course. And then we were treated to this wonderful rainbow over a logistics center truck depot railroad area. That was a pretty good end to this day. We are in Bux. Our hotel was one of those self-check-in hotels, which if you're a bike tourist is really good. If nobody's working there and you only talk to the machine, then yeah, nobody can yell at you. What was less good were the food options. Again, because we had gotten a late start, we arrived late, and so many restaurants were closed already, and even the supermarkets were closed. So what we ended up going was going to the mini mart at the train station, and Ben stopped at McDonald's because those were our options. Less than ideal, but you know, whatever. We still had an awesome day too. And most important, no crashes. See you for the next episode.